Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Thrive Over Survive. And okay. Yes, we have Lila in the background. I will say hi, Lila. You guys see her? She is being a little fussy nugget because she is tired. And yes, hello. Don't know if you guys can hear her. But we are going live today to talk about potential waste in your business. Hi, Mom. You already missed Lila, but I'll show her again since you're live. Lila, say hi. Can you say hi? There she goes. Because my mom told me that the only reason she watches my lives is because of Lila. So I said, that's fine. You're not my ideal client, or you're not the person I'm putting these videos out for, because they are meant for content for those who are growing their business. But, so what are we going to talk about today? We're talking about potential waste in your business. Saw her by. You're funny. We're talking about potential waste in your business. They are... So, to lay some groundwork before we get into the nitty-gritty details of what potential wastes are in your business, and this could also be potential, I'm going to add in a few potential wastes that could not just be in your business, but in your day-to-day. So this is all about how to make yourself more efficient, how to make your business more efficient, because once you get to a certain point... Hi, love. One sec. Once you get to a certain point in your business, usually when I'm working with multi-six-figure business owners and people who are starting to reach over $250,000 in their business, it's when they start to really focus in and hone in on these wastes in their business, because, say, look, hi, Lila, because they have delegated so much. They have a proven process. They have team members. They have the software. They have the spend. But then, okay, you have all of this in your products. So how do you cut costs? How do you make things more efficient in your business to create a better profit margin? So where is it? We're going to talk about something that I incorporate in my, so if you work with me in a system session, if you've done a VIP day with me, if you work with me one-on-one, this is a huge core piece of what we look at and work on in your business. I don't normally outright call it this, but it is we are looking for potential wastes in your business that are costing you money or costing you time, so that you can maximize your business efficiency. So this is a concept that is taken from Lean Six Sigma, if anyone's aware of it. I have my certification in Lean Six Sigma, and then I've applied it to online businesses. So that's why I say I'm going to add in a few other wastes that I've seen from online business owners and service providers that aren't talked about, because Lean Six Sigma has great concepts, but it's also mostly meant for manufacturing companies. But they're the core pieces of those frameworks and of those methodologies can be applied, and I have applied them to others' businesses, online service providers, coaches, consultants, course creators, all of that. So what is the definition of waste? So waste is all activities or entities which can be removed from your workflow stream without impacting its productivity negatively. That's like the book definition. So basically, what we're doing is identifying and eliminating anything that's not a value add to your client. So that is another big piece in Lean Six Sigma, is what is a value add to your client, to your paying customer? that's what I'm looking for when I'm going through at a high level with my clients, as what is the value add, because Lean Six Sigma is very client focused. Now in a manufacturing sense or a product-based business sense, what are these tasks that are value add for you in building out your product, or so a lot of these, it's kind of hard to see how they would apply in your online business if you're not used to looking for them. But this is kind of what I work on in our system sessions. So a value add is what your customer is willing to pay for. And the hard thing for service providers, coaches, and consultants is sometimes they create these offers and they create these products digitally or service-based offers, and they don't factor in what the clients really want, what's valuable to them. So, they build in all these things and they're adding in all these bonuses and these freebies and, you just puked. All these bonuses and these freebies, and there's really no value add, and you're actually adding extra costs to you on the back end because, you're wasting time. So that's a huge one. Fudge. This kid, man. So anyone watching the replay, sorry. We have some major puking going on here. Anyway, so the 8 wastes that are in your business, these are the 8 defined wastes, and I'm going to run through the top ones I see in online businesses and service providers. Oh my gosh, what are you doing? And then the few that I would add on. So, okay. Transport. So any transporting things from one place to another, and this includes data. Inventory, so having an excess of inventory. Motion. So any extra motion involved that's unnecessary. Inventory, transportation. Defects, so any mistakes, rework, scrap, incorrect information. So a lot of those, my favorite example is when you send out an email to your list and there's an error and you have to go back and fix it, or send out a new one saying, oops, I made a mistake, or oops, this isn't right. So how can we prevent those mistakes from happening that are ended up causing rework? So I kind of went in depth. So I'm trying to stay high level here first, and then we'll go into detail. Waiting, so wasted time waiting for the next step in a process. This is a huge one, and we're gonna go into detail about that one too. Overproduction, production that is more than needed, or before it is needed. Also a good one for my service providers and online coaches. Non-utilized talent, so underutilizing your people's talents, skills, and knowledge. And extra processing, more work or higher quality than is required by the customer. And you're like, well, what do you mean higher quality than required by the customer? So I see this a lot. Okay. When you're giving higher of a quality, which it's always good to overgive. I overgive on my clients all the time, and I do this a ton in my business without realizing it, because if you're an overgiver or you're, someone who is an empath, but the problem is, are you done puking? The problem is we are doing more work and we're giving a higher quality than maybe that client at that price point really even values. So some people in our business, or who's buying from us, they are at the price point that we're delivering the product. So say you're delivering a service at a $1,000 price point, and you're over giving and working way more hours, because you should be factoring in how many hours it takes you to complete the task, and assigning a dollar value amount onto this. So a good example of this, oh, come on, kiddo. So a good example of this is when you're building out a website, or you're managing a team for my OBMs or service providers. are you going above and beyond past the scope of work, which, you want to do to maintain a good client relationship, but then you're crossing a boundary. You've gone over the boundary, you've gone over the scope of work, now they expect it, and you're putting in time for a $4,000 offer, really, and they're paying you for $1,000. So they're really not appreciating it as much as they could, or they have a totally different mindset of a client who would be willing to pay you that $4,000. Like, that's extra processing. That's actually harming your business and causing waste in your business because you're not reaching your full potential. Overproduction. So this is something I see a lot with the digital products or digital course people or group programs, where you're trying to pack in all these little things to your core offer to have your bonuses and your extras and to make it super valuable. And now some of those, if you don't have to recreate it and you're not putting in a bunch of time, and it's a very evergreen offer that you can provide them and a resource that you can provide them, then it's not really an overproduction in that sense. It's when you now have you're going to be dedicating extra time that is not baked into that pricing. So you are also, then you're losing money on that offer. You're not pricing your offer correctly. So you're overproducing, and what does the client actually need? What's the offer? So just give them what they need at the price point they need it at, and stop trying to overproduce, and give them so they don't really need. So that's a waste I see a lot in online businesses. Defects, we kind of went over that. So like, how do we ensure quality in our work? So this is something I see and work on a lot with service providers. How can we have a quality control check? So do you implement a review process before it goes out to the client? What's your review process if it's just you? Like when it was just me before I had an assistant, I would write out a lot of my content and a lot of stuff for my clients, and then come back next day with a fresh set of eyes so I could make sure that I reviewed their work. So I didn't like waiting till the last minute, because that's when a lot of defects is going to happen in your work. So as a manager and as an ops manager, an OBM for clients, a virtual COO now, I always try to help make sure in the processes we're building, we're building in time for review or backward scheduling. These are the deadlines given by the client. This is what the timeline we need to complete the core work. And then how much time should I factor in as a buffer for, life events that happen or review time. So those are some examples on how you can prevent defects or rework. I see this a lot when people are back and forth too on their offers, and they make a bunch of rework for their team because they switch things or, rush into things. I'm not saying there's always going to be putting out offers and then honing them in and fine tuning them. But when you are creating a bunch of rework, like frequently, yes, you're learning too, aren't you? Thank you for listening to Mama. You're interested in this, aren't you? Yeah, you're interested in this. When you're doing all these back and forth and you don't have succinct clarity, and then you're trying to lead a team and have them do what you need, you're creating a bunch of rework, and that's costing you money because usually they're hourly, or you have them on a retainer, and that's taking away from things that they could be doing that's going to be adding value, or you're just like passing on information that you're not ready to share. So making sure you have some succinct clarity in your offers and what you're like delegating to your team, and making sure that you give them the proper information so that there's not a bunch of back and forth on that process, or in that process for reviewing to you. And then wasted time waiting for the next step in a process. So there's no there's no clear handoff in the process between your team, or this could look like waiting because you didn't automate a step in your process. So someone fills out your form on your website, and they have to then wait for the information. because you don't have an automated email that goes out to say, here's the next step or here's what to do. And, there's all this waiting time. So that's actually a waste in your business because you're not capitalizing on things. And one that I know is in my business that I actually need to just get rid of because it is not like my Facebook group. I have it and people are joining it now, but it's like I don't really show up there as much because it isn't what brings me joy. It doesn't feel in alignment. It's actually just a time suck for me and it's a time waster for me. People are joining it because I have links out there, so I need to get rid of the links because that's just adding extra steps that aren't value add in the process. If people are trying to check me out, like I should be just directing them here to Instagram or my website. But I don't have an automation that I easily could have where they get approved to go into my group and then they get nurtured via an email sequence. So there's like waiting in there. And I'll be completely honest. And then, a few other wastes that I've seen in business, so that are time and energy waste, because that's something that they don't cover in the 8 wastes in Six Sigma, because since I became an entrepreneur, I've noticed a lot of people who waste time and they waste mental energy. And they do this by productively procrastinating or because over obsessing and not being able to decide on things. So they're wasting mental energy by trying to focus. They're too focused on all these other things, or they're trying to, they waste time by trying to, they procrastinate what they're doing by like doing something else that's considered productive, but they're really just pushing something else off. I have this happen a lot. I was actually just talking to someone about this. She buys courses. She's like, I just feel like I need all these courses, but she's really wasting her time and her money because she knows if she just needs to sit down and do it and implement things that she knows, but she's like self-sabotaging herself. So those are some wasters of shiny object syndrome, of wasting time, but you are justifying it because you think it's education and it's furthering, but you're not really just listening to yourself and deciding as an entrepreneur and as a business owner, this is what I'm going to do. These are the next steps I'm going to take. That and then that's another thing of mental energy. Like, what do I do? What do I need to do? So are you potentially wasting mental energy going back and forth on something instead of just making a decision? And are you wasting are you wasting that time because you can't make that decision? So those are some of like the add-ons I would say and add into that are beyond the ones that are in project management and in the process, because for me and what I teach my clients, it is, your business and your operations of your business are very custom to you. And I fully believe that the systems that you put in place for your business should be tailored, but also these wastes matter, and how you're showing up in with your mindset and to implement these systems and to implement a team. It all starts there. Like, you need to be able to step into a CEO role to really guide and lead and prevent these wastes from happening. And you have to think, and make data-driven decisions to see where these are potentially showing up in your business. So this has kind of been a longer live, but I think I'm very passionate about sharing this content because they are relevant and there are a lot of wastes in businesses. So if this is something you'd want eyes on your processes or workflows in your business because you think, I might have these wastes within my business, or how do I even identify if I have waste? So some symptoms that you might have in your business that could show that you have potential waste in your business is, you are overworked, you're on the verge of burnout, you don't feel like you have free time, maybe you're not cash positive in your business and you're like, why? And it might be simply tweaking some of these. So if you really feel like you need some extra help and need some extra set of eyes in your business, please book a 2-hour strategic session with me, because this is something we cover. We will map out your workflow. I help you identify these waste. I apply a client first focus to your business and your systems, your processes. And then also we're looking at what kind of tech we can implement as well in your business. And these 2-hour sessions are great to get you jump started, make sure you have clear action steps for the next 30 days. And you have that clarity in your business. And we would identify a lot of these wastes I would identify a lot of these wastes for you. Before she throws up on me again, if you're watching the replay or you're watching live, let me know what your biggest takeaway was, what maybe potential waste is in your business. And also, also, if you're not on my email list, make sure to go to the link in my bio. You can download my Tech Stack to Freedom and get on my email list, and I'm going to be putting out a revamped version PDF of these wastes in a succinct PDF that's coming out. My assistant and I are working on that, so you can help identify these wastes in your business on your own and know what they are, because the first step is being aware. So yeah, let me know what your biggest takeaways were. And if you're not on my email list, make sure you go and get on there. The link is in my bio so that you can get that PDF once it comes out. And I hope y'all have a great day. Say bye.